So this year, I want to start going live more. Um, just having conversations, bringing this stuff directly to the platform. Um, Tonight, there's a thought that I wanted to share. It was an impactful thought, a revelation that came from the day. And that thought is understanding as a man that at some point in your life when you are graduating from being a boy to being a man, uh, that you no longer are in a position where you can really blame things on anybody else or look to anybody else to be a man for you. And I don't know if I'm painting this picture in the best way, but I'm going to do my best. So I saw something earlier. There was this guy, and he was talking about how a lot of times as men, when we're younger, we bank on being liked. If we are liked by people, we find ourselves in a position where we can be invited into certain rooms, we can have relationship or friendship with certain people. We can navigate through a large number of arenas by being liked. I remember one time my mother told me, she said, get good at what you want to get good at or go for what you want to go for while you're still young. Because the older you get, you'll have less and less people that are willing to help you do what you want to do, be who you want to be, go where you want to go. And nothing could be more true because the fact of the matter is, the older you get, and the, let's just say, further you journey into your manhood, you find yourself in a place where you realize, especially the older you get, the more the onus and responsibility is on you to perform, to meet your responsibilities, to be proficient. Not only that, but you graduate from a place where you can bank or hang your hat on being liked, and you have to transition to a place where you are trusted. And so we find ourselves, I think, sometimes in a limbo as men, especially when you find yourself in this position where you grew up in a place or in a situation or in a paradigm where you had to, for lack of better words, be liked, or you had to gain approval in order to survive, in order to have any type of sense of peace. A lot of us find ourselves in that position or that situation where we do just that. And we take that mess into our adulthood and then try to navigate the world as men who are people pleasers. But when you become a man and you realize that as a man, everything really is on you now. There's nobody that's going to come and protect you as a man. You're a man and there's nobody that's going to come and handle your responsibilities for you. That's just a fact. As a man, you realize that it's your turn and your time to step up. You realize that as a man, it's your turn and your time to meet your responsibilities. What's good, Penelope? What's good? What's good? What's good? You realize that as a man, you are now in a position in life where what's good? What's good? Hey, hey. Thank you all for hopping on. Thank you all for hopping on. We're just talking about right now how, uh, as a man, of course, because I'm a man, I'm sure, ladies, if you all in here, you can relate too, because it's just honestly maturing and becoming an adult. Fernando, what's good? What's good? What's good? Um, but yeah, we're just talking about how when you graduate, right, from being a kid, to becoming an adult, of course, I'm speaking from the man's perspective. There comes a time, what's good, what's good, what's good, where you realize that everything is on you, and you realize that, for lack of better words, there's no hiding behind anybody anymore. Your problems are your problems. Your struggles are your struggles. And who is this right here? This, I can't even pronounce that name. I'm gonna go ahead and move, bro. There we go. Um, but you realize that your responsibility is your responsibility. And I think that the hardest thing sometimes about that is when you're graduating from a place where you can rely on other people, especially as a kid, you find yourself in a position where you're banking on being liked, you're relying on being liked. You know, you're trying to people please in a sense. If you can be that person in school that people like, if you can be that person in the neighborhood that people like, if you can be that person in your family that doesn't rock the boat or that can get approval, you find yourself in that position where things go smooth. But when you become an adult and the older you get, you're no longer in a position where you're just banking on, uh, yo. And real quick, I'm gonna say this, man. People gonna be people, you know. People are rude. People say a lot of wild stuff, and I appreciate y'all for for having my back on that. But please don't let a few individuals who want to, sprinkle seeds of disruption or not being kind, don't let them steal y'all attention away from what we got going on. You got some people in this world who they need negativity to feel important. And they need negativity or they need seeds of doubt or disrespect to just get attention. And me personally, I pray for those people, you know what I'm saying? Because no amount of going back and forth with them, no amount of trying to, shut them up or go tit for tat will ever get those type of people to change. And so only the word of God can do that. So we just gonna keep doing our thing and let them do their thing. But what we was talking about was this transition, right? From being just a kid and then growing into a man, or for the ladies, it's not growing into a woman. And people who seek attention make deals with the devil. Hey, I mean, shoot. I've heard some people talk about that. I've heard people talking about selling their souls to the devil and all of that, and different music artists and all of that type stuff. Let's go, bro. Stop me. Hey, look, man. When people come on this joint and start ensuing little disrespectful comments, we don't gotta go back and forth with them. We just gonna move them on out, and we gonna keep on pushing. God bless. God bless. Man, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. We started when I started this platform about a year ago, um, shoot, I just knew that though I didn't know if it was gonna be successful or not, I just knew that I wanted to try to, for lack of better words, open up conversations that I wish I had the blessing of having, or conversations that I wish people had had with me when I was growing up, when I was making bad decisions, when I didn't necessarily have all of the people in my life to guide me in all of the right ways. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm in there just starting in, but hope you have a blessed day. Don't listen to noise, brother. I appreciate that. That's love, man. We only listen to one voice. That's the voice of God. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate y'all, man. It was a joke, you know me. Oh, I'm not really tripping off that mess. Yo. I'm not tripping off that mess. Honestly, life is too short. I stand with Israel. Hey, I respect it. I respect it, man. Coming off the top, your mind. Okay. Uh, Cliff, dude, stop. I could move bro on out this jump. Boom. Everything that I do, praise the Lord. Heck yeah. That's what it's really all about. And that's what I was really going to get to. Um, when we just talking about this concept of when you realize the responsibility is on you. Uh, and I mean, it's just getting to that point where you realize that you can no longer bank on trying to be a people pleaser. And when you realize as an adult that you can no longer be a people pleaser, you get to a point where you realize that, for lack of better words, it's no longer about public opinion, and it's all about Am I doing the will of God or am I not doing the will of God? Because at the end of the day, we all have to choose a God, right? Some people, and I see this a lot. You probably see it too. Y'all probably see it too. There's a lot of guys who they just want to be the money men, right? And so they make money their God. They say, I'm going to work X amount of jobs. I'm going to do this, that, and the third. Some of them step into illegal things because their whole goal is just to be the money man, be seen as the dude who has money. Exactly. At the end of the day, it's you and it's the Lord for real. You know what I'm saying? Some people, they want to always have somebody else to validate them, so they jump from relationship to relationship because they need somebody to fill that void, to be that presence. You got other people who sometimes they're the person who just need attention. So whether it's for good reasons or bad reasons, they just need attention. What's good, Brian, Denan? That's the Denan DJ. Brian, Braden. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. Braden and DJ. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Thank you all for popping on. But you know, we become adults and we realize that no matter what we do, nothing is going to bless our lives more than just being obedient. You know what I'm saying? More than just obtaining those or allowing God to produce in us those fruits of the spirit. Becoming a person that's more loving. And when a lot of times we say love and we think of it as just like this feeling, nah. When you look, of course, there's multiple types of love in terms of what we see biblically, but the main form that we see most recurringly, agape. Agape, the Greek, the word is agape. Agape, agape. And when you see the word agape and you look at what it meant in the Greek, it is to have an overarching desire for the betterment of somebody else. When we get to a place where we can have an overarching desire for the betterment of other people, especially people who don't even mean it's no good, and then walk in that regardless of what they do and what they say, is a game changer. Is this my first live, Mr. Cat? Yes, this is my first live. This is something that I want to start doing in the new year. I think that, well, I know I've been doing Larger Than Logic podcast for all of this year. And yeah, just in the new year, I want to come on and just start trying to connect a little bit more directly. Good job, Hammerhead. You always ahead of the game. I appreciate that for what it's worth, gang. um, yes, for real. South, why, dude? People different, man. Say, Penelope Zakola. What's up? What's up? How old are you? I'm 28. I'm 28. And yeah, I got a question for a few of y'all who are on here. So, a lot of people, and some people know, some people don't know. I've been studying Spanish for like the past, like 4 years. He estado aprendiendo el español hace unos 3 o 4 años. And I've been thinking about like doing the podcast in Spanish and English. And I'm wondering, estoy esperando si es una buena idea or if I should just keep it all English or start doing like a separate channel all in Spanish. Not gonna lie, if South comment is good or not. Man, South a different type of person. We gonna let South be South. Yeah. South a different kind of person, it seems like. But God bless South though. I don't know South. See. Yeah, I really been thinking about that. Um, starting either, starting either. I try not. So if y'all didn't know, I'm from Maryland. Maybe like a other channel with just that's what I've been thinking. Maybe start another channel with just Spanish, cause I feel like that content might get like too mixed up, and it could be hard for people who only speak one language to find content like in the language that they speak. But yeah, and that's one thing. I was talking to my wife about that the other day, and a few of my friends, my brothers at the church also. So I'm from Maryland, um, like the DMV area. I try not to put too much of my business online, but I'm from the DMV area, and so the accent or like how I usually say stuff sometimes isn't the most politically correct, or not politically correct, the most grammatically correct, or not the most clear. So when I do my podcast, I try to enunciate and say my words more clearly like this. But sometimes, especially when I like really get into what I'm saying, it's a little bit more difficult to like flip that switch, code switch. But practice makes perfect. Start a Spanish channel. Empezar un canal solamente en el español. Okay, okay. Well, if you think I should, Penelope, I'm gonna do a soft launch. I should do a soft launch. I should do a soft launch. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Cause it's something I've been really on the fence. I've been talking to my wife about that for like the past, I don't know, maybe 6 months. So I think I might hop off the porch. You might have to go ahead and make that happen. Plus, not to mention, like, aquí, alrededor de mí, and so yo vivo en Maryland, y tenemos mucha gente de México, Guatemala, um, y muchos otros países. And I think that it could be like a good connector entre las comunidades hispanohablantes y like people who just speak English. I think that'd be really dope. Um, I appreciate that. I appreciate that cosign. But yeah, that was the main thought. It's just like, you know, so I'm doing like I guess like a small series right now with the podcast where what I really want is to be able to encourage anybody who watches and tunes in to detach their self image from the reactions of other people. Um, I'm gonna go. Thank you for your knowledge. I'm gonna sub, man. That's love. That's love. I appreciate you coming and dropping by. Um, and I'm excited just to spend more time. I'm gonna be back on live, so we got more time to talk, chop it up. Praying a wonderful night over you. Happy New Year. If we don't speak again, God bless, Mr. Cat. That's love. That's love. Um, but yeah, just I know how much that's been a weight for me. Just in growing is in my relationship with God, trying to be responsible, to be obedient to what God has just commanded and asked of his disciples. But then on the other side of that, also feeling like I'm responsible for people's emotions. And it's crazy because not only can we not serve two masters, right? But it's also a situation where uh, it's almost as though sometimes we get taught that in order to be a follower of Christ, that we have to, for lack of better words, be an emotional caretaker. We've never learned the distinction between bearing each other's burdens and then handling each other's responsibilities. You know, it's like we sometimes get to this place where we feel like we have to be the morale boost to every place we go. And though yes, we are the salt of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Yes, though we are God's hands and feet. Even Christ Himself, I believe when he was going back to his own hometown where he was from, and it said he could do no miracles there because they had no faith. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations and places where there are people who are hell bent on not letting you be effective in your walk, who are hell bent on you not, uh, you know, bringing the love of God into the space. And sometimes you just gotta let them, you gotta let them be, and you can't take their reactions and their isms personally. No, si no hay problema, me encanta apoyar a la gente. Sí, yo también, te lo agradezco. Your thoughts shape your reality. That's facts. That's facts. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a man thinketh inside his mind, so is he. That's facts. Oh my God, what's going on? First time going live. What's good, Kirk? What's good, Kirk? Is it as big as your forehead though? See, Now this the crazy thing. So for y'all to hear, so my man Kirk just hopped on, right? Me and Kirk, we used to work together at this restaurant in the DMV, and that's one of my guys. And so when people get on here and start joining and trying to cook me and stuff, I could try to remove them, but Kirk gonna be the one that's gonna help them. Kirk's gonna be the one that's going tap in on them and get him help. Really, is that worth it? Is what worth it? Oh, uh, the person's comment is Mookie Mookie Brea or Mookie Brea. Man, people, hey, look, that's a conversation that wouldn't necessarily be uh, a larger than logic conversation, but yeah, like, so they definitely being wild. See, Kirk, Kirk said, yeah, better chill out. Kirk wants to help so bad, but um, that's but growing up in the DMV, uh, growing up in the DMV, man, shoot, that was every day. I used to hate that mess too. I've never been a person who liked joning and roasting and all of that type stuff. I used to despise that stuff. But it's definitely baked into the DMV culture. Mookie Bria. But nah, I can definitely at some point, if they keep disrupting stuff, go ahead and excuse them. Imagine taking out. Yeah, yeah. I can kick them out if they keep playing games. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing about that. But yeah, that was just the main thought. That was just the main thought. You get to a point where it's less about being liked and it's more about just being obedient. And being obedient regardless of what anybody says, regardless of what anybody does, regardless of how anybody reacts to you. It's no longer a game of being liked by others, but building trust within yourself, and not just for the sake of yourself and who you are, but because of who God made you to be, and trusting God, of course, to keep His promise and protect you and guide you and help you as you do His will. I gotta go to bed. Y'all gotta. Yo también tengo que descansar, pero gracias por unirte esta noche y peace out, y'all. Let's go. Igualmente, have a good night. I appreciate you. I think I'm gonna hop off for two. But yeah, this was dope, y'all. Thank y'all for all hopping on. And what's it called? We rocking in 2026, larger than logic. What's it called? Love ya.